Yo, what's good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another video. Today we're going to talk about Queens and Our Kind of People being canceled after season one. I was so sad, so upset. I was just so mad because these are really great shows, and I hate the fact that these two predominantly black shows were canceled after season one. But we just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna have some spoilers in this. So if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. Not sorry. You can still watch Our Kind of People. It is available on Hulu. Queens is also available on Hulu. And if you haven't seen it, I know, like I said, both of these shows have been canceled, but you can still watch it, especially Our Kind of People. I thought it was a great show. So I'm gonna start with Queens. I was quite disappointed that Queens was canceled. I actually liked the show and thought it had great potential. I really did, but I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked of this cancellation, especially if you watch the last episode. They crammed so much stuff in that 60 minutes. I knew it was over. I knew it was over, especially when you saw that they began to circle back with the whole Eric and Naomi situation, which Naomi was portrayed by Brandy as a potential romantic prospect, and I didn't want her with him. I didn't want Naomi with Eric. I wanted her to be with Rodrigo, the fine Puerto Rican video director. That's who I wanted her with. But when they started to make that Eric and Naomi a thing, I was like, please don't do this. I just felt like it was so easy. And even though it was history between them and they had a child, well, they had a daughter together, I understood the idea of trying to make them a family, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I thought that there were certain aspects of the show where the writing was lackluster, where it could have been better. But as far as each character, especially the women, having a substantial storyline, I felt it was there. I felt the substance was there. Whether I agree with how the characters moved or not, the concept of showing four women in their 40s rediscovering themselves, I thought it was a beautiful thing. And I thought it was something that people could relate to, whatever it may be. We saw Jill, that was played by Naturi Naughton. She was a lesbian, afraid to come out because she was rooted and grounded in religion. Her father was a priest, so she dealt with that shame. She dealt with, living her life in secret. And then you had Naomi, which was portrayed by Brandy, and she was just this roadie who was, having found success after being in a successful hip hop group 20 years ago. Then you had Valeria, who I couldn't stand that heifer. I started liking her toward the end of the show, and then you had Eve's character. I cannot think of her name right now. Um, but you had Eve's character who was married, had all them darn churn. Her husband was cheating on her. They just had their own thing going on. Came back together after a new artist sampled one of their most popular songs. So that was like the whole premise of the show. I just don't know what happened. And it could have been a lot of things. It could have been that the show was on ABC, which probably wasn't the best network for the show. The fact that the show came on at 10 p.m. And if you watch the whole thing, you going to bed after 11, people got to work. I don't know what it was. The ratings were not that great. That's the bottom line. The ratings were not that great. However, I did feel that they deserved a second season. It was just so much there. And I was totally like hooked after the first episode because you had that feeling of nostalgia. You had Brandy, you had Eve, you had Naturi, the actress Nadine, who portrayed Valeria. I don't really know anything about her. This is my first time seeing her, but I'm just like, I just felt it was so much there. But I think one of the things that the show dropped the ball with was having a social media presence. I think that they did well with promoting the show on television, but you cannot negate the fact that social media plays a huge role in the success of your show. And if to me, honestly, if it wasn't for Cameron, you know what I'm saying? He began to make me more intrigued about Queens than anything. And I'm not a TV watcher, so I didn't see the promotion on television. So it's like, okay, for those who really keep up with social media, he started that. I think people were more intrigued when they saw Cameron and Brandy together on social media with the little skits and stuff they were doing. I thought that Cameron was going to have more of a presence on the show, but I think he was only like on 2 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that Cameron and Brandy have great chemistry that could have been really played with, but once they, that last episode, Naomi and Eric got married, I was not here for it. I was just like, it's done. It's done. I knew it because it was just so much. It didn't feel right. The last episode felt so rushed. You know what I'm saying? But the good thing is you have these powerhouses with Brandy and Eve and Naturi who gon' jump back on their feet, and we've seen them doing great things. Eve became pregnant. She gave birth to her son, and I think it was just a missed opportunity, and I'm sad to see it go. But such is life. So our kind of people, I was more hurt that this show got canceled. I ain't gonna lie to you. Even though Brandy is my dog, like I've been rocking with her ever since she came out. I was so hurt because this show was literally becoming one of my favorite shows. I thought that the writing was superb. The storylines were amazing and intriguing. And the show had a wonderful veteran cast. And, in the beginning, I tried not to get my hopes up when it came to this show because ever since the debacle of the TV show Star, I've been skeptical of Lee Daniels when it comes to black shows on Fox. Okay, I'm just be honest. The show ended on the cliffhanger. Leah was shot. The person who shot her thought he was shooting her father, Teddy, who was an asshole. So I completely understand. But he shot the wrong person. We don't know if Leah survived, if she died. We don't know anything. And I think the storyline, the premise of this show was so good because you had these 2 women, Angela and Leah, who were sisters. They had the same father, different mothers, grew up completely different. And Teddy had so many secrets buried, so many bones buried, that he was willing to do anything to keep his daughters from forming a bond and a sisterhood. It didn't matter. It was all about him and protecting his, quote unquote legacy. It was just so much there. It was, if any show deserved a second season, I think it should have been Our Kind of People, but we're not going to get that. And I hope that we are not seeing a resurgence of these black shows being greenlit only to be canceled after the first season. And I think, for those of us who watched a lot of black shows in the 90s and early 2000s, we saw this. You had shows like Moesha and One on One that had been on the air for 5-6 years and did not have a proper series finale. And then you had, I wasn't a big fan of the Parkers, but I did watch it. And you had a show like that did have a series finale, but I didn't like it because I was mad she ended up with Professor Ogilvy. But that's a whole nother video. I am going to do this thing called Back Down Memory Lane where I'm discussing, TV shows from the past and how it affected us and things of that nature. But I just hope we're not in that place again. And sometimes it could be the network. These shows just may be on the right network. I don't think Fox is the best place for a black TV show, just to be honest. And I just hate that. Yeah, I'm sad. I'm sad to see it go. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm watching more TV now. But when I do find shows that are intriguing, that are interesting, like I really do connect with them. And Our Kind of People, I really did connect to it. And it's just sad because it's almost like if you're not a reality show, if you're not willing to demean yourself for a quick buck, it's almost as if the studio doesn't want to put money behind, these black shows or these black entertainers. And, it's just sad to see. But yeah, that's my video on Queens and Our Kind of People. I'm going to release a video later on today talking about some things with the Chi. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's going on? It's some things popping over there that we got to talk about. So I thank you guys for listening. And until next time, I will holler at y'all later.